This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
If you want bizarro world in sports, March 10th, 2026 is it. I have no clue, and we'll try to break it down. No clue where to start with this show. I was talking with Eli before the show. I was like, hey, where do you want to take this show? Where do you want to go? Honestly, I don't know. To be perfectly honest, it's because this is one of those like crapshoot type of nights where like random stuff all rolled into one. But we'll dive through as much as we can here tonight on Midnight Run. I'm Anthony Alford. It's great to have you with us here with you until 1. We got a special guest coming up at the bottom of the hour, Rico, the Ruler Sports Minute. Rico McGee, he's going to join me to talk about the stuff going on with Kevin Stefanski. I teased it. I'm like, is Kevin Stefanski the smartest coach in the NFL or the dumbest? And there's really no in between. So we'll talk to Rico about that. And also HBCUs, should the Division I HBCUs, should they have NIL for marching bands? Because we go to the games for marching band. We don't go for the sporting events and stuff like that. But all right, let's recap all the things that happened tonight. Let's recap. So the big NFL free agency story of Maxx Crosby being traded from the Raiders to the Baltimore Ravens. Well, apparently he may or may not have failed a physical. And the Ravens pulled out, but we are hearing that the Ravens may have not have pulled out just because of the physical. They knew something else. So, therefore, the Raiders, look, at this moment, the Baltimore Ravens are getting all the blame. And anytime you make the Las Vegas Raiders look good, you're in the wrong. You're in the wrong. So, I don't know if we should start there. I don't know if we should start with Bam Adebayo getting 83 points today. I wish I cared more. I don't want to crap over this record. I really don't. Congrats to him. He did it. He earned it. He did it. But the second highest scoring point total he had this season, he scored 32 points earlier in the season. Like, this is such an outlier performance. And the Wizards kept fouling for no reason. And Bam shot, 41 free throws today. I don't want to crap over it because it's a major accomplishment. It is. Wilt, Bam, Kobe. Wilt also has 78 points on the night. So, do I go there? Again, if I go there, I'm going to crap all over it. And I don't want to. It just feels wrong. I don't know why it feels wrong. Or do we go to the WBC, where Team USA could be on their way out of the WBC before the knockout round? And they are, I don't have a score update, Eli. Do you have a score update? You could pop on. Do you have when you get a score update? I know Team USA had a big homer right before we came on the air. The game's on FS1. I do not have FS1 currently. But, USA was losing badly to Italy. How are we looking right now, Eli?
Yes, 8-5 Italy, middle of the ninth. 8-5 USA trying to come back here. So they'll have one more attempt here, down 3, bottom of the ninth. They just started the bottom of the ninth, 8-5 Italy on top of USA right now. AA, gonna be interesting.
Now, the score is interesting because the tiebreaker, I believe, if Italy holds on, it's going to be in there'll be like a three-way tie situation with USA, Italy, and Mexico. The tiebreaker doesn't go to head-to-head just because they all beat each other. It comes down to scoring margin. So the situation looked very dire about an hour ago when Team USA was down 8-0. It looks a little bit more achievable, but a 3-run difference is still not good. And your Team USA, you're supposed to be the very best of the best. Admittedly, I'm like, okay, I'm going to really dive into the WBC. I was excited about it going in, and then due to scheduling, I didn't get a chance to fully watch both of the opening games. But I'm trying to think, aren't we Team USA? Aren't we supposed to be good at baseball? Isn't baseball? I've heard this before. Somebody called baseball America's pastime. Well, we're going to be dust in the past if we can't handle business in the WBC. And wow, you have that. In the second segment, we're going to talk about Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano. Like, that fight is going to be nuts. And what Ronda had to say about the UFC, nuts. And also the Cleveland Browns. Can I say Andrew Berry might be doing a good job? Oh, and one other thing, too. So I posted on TikTok and I posted on social media my comments about Jaylen Brown. I forgot to mention this to Eli during our production meeting. But this also happened today. Jaylen Brown ejected from the game today. Why was he ejected? Why? I mean, I don't know. It wasn't clear to me. Reggie Miller didn't really do a good job explaining exactly what happened, but what did I talk about on yesterday's show? That offhand, yes, and Celtics fans were on Twitter or on TikTok. They were like, "Oh, you could." Yes, when you're a young player, or when you're a player, you have the ball in one hand. You can use your offhand to shield off a defender. When you swipe, that's an offensive freaking foul. End of story. It's just a matter, the refs are not consistent in calling that. Well, guess what? In the play that I don't know if the ball was just tipped out of bounds or he was called for an offensive foul, but guess what happened? Ball on one hand, big swipe to the defenders for San Antonio. Call goes the other way. He goes nuts, and all of a sudden, thrown out of the game. He has his own security, by the way, break things up. Craziness. So it's a little tough as a talk show host. Where do you go? With all this? Let's start with Maxx Crosby. Let's start there. Because you thought here for a hot second, we were joking about, yeah, this is definitely a game changer. The Ravens, 2 first-rounders basically for Maxx Crosby. The Ravens have never made a deal like this before. But here's where everyone in the league is like, dude, what are you doing? Everyone in the league knew Maxx Crosby had injury issues. This was not a secret. The Ravens were the ones that made this deal. The Ravens committed to this deal last Friday. And they knew going in that this was an issue, and they got cold feet. This is damaging if you're the Ravens organization. Damaging on all fronts. How can any team trust the Ravens in making deals? Maxx Crosby and the Raiders lost out on more deals because other teams wanted Maxx Crosby, knew he was on the market, knew he was available. And when the Ravens swiped him on Friday, they allocated their resources to other places. And that was it. And if you're a player, how can you trust negotiating with the Baltimore Ravens? Now, at the end of the day, if you couldn't tell by my shirt, we are based here in Cleveland. Quite honestly, I could care less in terms of how the Ravens persona looks. I care about Cleveland sports, and that's that. From a Cleveland sports standpoint, I'm very happy that Maxx Crosby will not be coming to the AFC North. I'm very happy about that. But this is not a good look whatsoever. Not a good look whatsoever. If you're talking about where do you go from here? And this puts a dent on what you can do in terms of the Ravens. Like, how do you get cold feet? Like, did you not do your homework on the injury? Did you not do your homework? So, yeah, screw them. Screw them. Because, again, a lot of teams wanted Maxx Crosby. A lot of teams wanted him. But he's back with the Raiders. And we'll see what happens with the Ravens. But the Ravens, the bigger picture with the Baltimore Ravens, we always talk every single year about the Ravens being a favorite, or Ravens being one of those teams that could dethrone Kansas City or be right there. I know Buffalo gets a ton of smoke for not being able to get over the hump in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens should be in that conversation as well. Matter of fact, I know they're in the conversation, but they're the main characters of this conversation, not just say, oh, by the way, the Ravens. This was an opportunity for the Ravens to legitimately get a guy who could stop the elite quarterbacks in the AFC. Whether you're talking Patrick Mahomes, Drake May, Bo Nix, Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, if he's still around, any of these guys, CJ Stroud, any of these quarterbacks, Justin Herbert, you keep naming them, any of these guys, Malik Willis, if things turn out well in Miami, you can make a run in stopping these guys and give Lamar Jackson the help that he deserves. On the defensive side, we were talking about how much resources all the Ravens are finally committed to giving Lamar Jackson a winner across the board. What is Lamar Jackson thinking right now? So, an absolute letdown, a complete blunder on the Baltimore Ravens side of things for not being able to pull this through. Like, what are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? Like, if you didn't do your homework, and again, what they did was screw other teams out of this opportunity. And so we'll see what's next, but it looks like Maxx Crosby. And the thing that sucks, if you're Maxx Crosby right now, you were thinking you were going to a championship contender. And now you're stuck for another season with the Raiders. And listen, and this is where I will put a Cleveland perspective into this for those listening or watching outside of Cleveland. For years, we had Joe Thomas here. Now we have Myles Garrett. Two guys. Joe Thomas is in the Hall of Fame already. Myles Garrett will be in the Hall of Fame, I'm sure, first ballot, when his playing days are done. And we could talk about our guys as our own as far as characters and things like that. It has to be demoralizing to be a Hall of Fame caliber player and to not be able to have a team built around you to succeed. And then take it a step further, you finally, for a weekend, I'm out. I'm free. I'm going to a championship contender. And then for whatever reason, after all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed, nope. It's off the table. And you get to stay where you're at. That is that sucks. That sucks badly. So I feel for everybody except the Ravens. Screw the Ravens. But from a sports standpoint, selfishly as a Browns fan, thank you, Ravens, for getting cold feet. Real quick about Bam Adebayo. 83 points today. He attempted 41 free throws. I'm curious for those watching, because I promise you guys right now, tomorrow is going to be ugly in terms of sports talk. I'm not even joking. National sports talk tomorrow or later today is going to be ugly, because this is the very definition of, hey, should we celebrate what just happened? Should we celebrate that this record was broken? Or, on the other hand, do I have to openly admit that the Washington Wizards are tanking, that the Washington Wizards are one of the worst teams in basketball, that in order for Bam to kind of get this record a little bit, and yes, he exploded in the first half. It's not like he only scored 20 in the first half and then put up 60 in the second half. It was even. But again, let me pull it out real quick just to confirm. I believe he had 41 free throw attempts. Let me pull up the box score real quick here. 83 points. He set free throw records in this game. And then let me pull it out real quick here in the box score. Ads don't play underneath me. 40, thank you, Eli. 43 free throw attempts, which I believe is a Miami Heat record. That's not entertaining. That's not entertaining. And on top of that, the Washington Wizards are a garbage team. In fact, the Wizards, if I'm not mistaken, let me check here. The Wizards, they are second to last in the Eastern Conference. They have dropped their last 9. Folks, I do a pro wrestling show, Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast. Watch it Friday morning with myself and Kyle Cornell. On the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast, we cover storylines and predetermined results. I'll just leave it at this. This might get ugly tomorrow. This might get ugly. Congrats to Bam. You got 83 points. You passed Kobe. For what? For what? But I will credit Bam for this. If he got W energy drink before his performance, then I take everything I said back. Our newest sponsor, the Inside Edge Network, W Energy, W.GG, natural ingredients. We partnered with W about a year ago on a Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast, and now they are a network sponsor throughout our programming here at Inside Edge Net across all of our socials. And what's great about W Energy, natural ingredients. Certain energy drinks that you get a pit in your stomach. It's unhealthy for you. You get the rise, and then the crash hurts. Real quick, Team USA fell to Italy 8-6. That just went final. But W Energy is phenomenal. All natural ingredients. And here's the cool thing. If you go to the website, W.GG, we got a promo code for you, a W Energy promo code, Inside Edge 10. You put that code in, you get to start your day. And the cool thing, all you need is like a water bottle or something. You put powder, you put the W Energy in there, you mix it in with water, you're ready to go. So whether you're starting your day, in the office or outside going to work, or you're about to head to the gym, or You just need a way to settle things down just a little bit to get the work done, or you're hosting a talk show, W Energy has you covered. Several phenomenal flavors. Phenomenal flavors. In fact, the blue ras flavor, just me personally letting you know, try that one. That one's really good. A lot of good stuff. W Energy, our newest sponsor here on the Inside Edge Network. We got more Midnight Run. And remember, Rico McGee joins me at the bottom of the hour, my guest here today. But coming up next, we'll talk a little Cleveland Browns and also Ronda Rousey throwing shade, major shade at the UFC. Back in just a moment.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford. This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, Rico McGee of the Rulers Minute joins me. Talk about Kevin Stefanski. Sorry, it's going to be... we always have a good time. Rico's my dude, man. We're going to have a great time. You'll see that coming up at the bottom of the hour. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we'll talk Ronda Rousey. I want to quickly get some Browns news in real quick. I'll just say this. They added Jenkins, Johnson, and Howard. So 3 of the 5 pieces of the offensive line is set for the Cleveland Browns. We have not heard anything from Joe Bitonio. His contract did void today, but hopefully we get some good news with Bitonio in terms of coming back for another season. Bitonio, by the way, we talked last segment about Joe Thomas and Myles Garrett. Joe Bitonio, another guy who's been the heart and soul of a team that just hasn't produced much around him. But he's worked his behind off, and he deserves to have a winner. So the Browns, don't look now. The formula of the Cleveland Browns, think back to last year's Chicago Bears. The Bears rebuilt their offensive line. The Bears added young talent at receiving or at the receiving core. Yes, they had their veteran, of course, with DJ Moore, who is no longer with the team, but they added a lot of young pieces at the skill positions with the receivers and the backfield. So now that you have the offensive line, I'll say this, for as crap of a situation as this was, the idea of potentially having to replace an entire offensive line, you got younger, it's less expensive, so you have more money to spread around, less of a liability, and all of a sudden, the Browns, don't look now, I think now you're leaning with that 6th spot. You could go receiver at 6, unless now if there's a left tackle that you absolutely love, okay, fine. And if all the receiving options are gone, okay, fine. You got to get that alpha number 1 receiver. You have to. But I commend Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry has done almost the impossible. He has brought in, maybe overpaid a little bit, but sometimes you got to overpay to bring in quality players. He has spent money on quality offensive linemen. Now you have a foundation. And for all those idiots out there that are like, oh, you got to get this quarterback, you got to get that quarterback, find out if Shedeur Sanders is the guy. Shedeur Sanders is very capable of being the guy. And now that you have an offensive line, you're going to have a stable backfield. Hopefully you bring in some receivers. It ain't the quarterback. It's not just the quarterback. All your receiving core, your offensive line, your backfield. In the 7 starts that Shedeur Sanders had, all of those positions ranked near the bottom of the NFL. So it's Shedeur Sanders' fault? Which, by the way, despite the crappy situation, Shedeur Sanders still won, 3 or 4 games for you, including Pittsburgh. Something that Dylan Gabriel couldn't do. So it is what it is. Real quick, and then we got Rico coming up. Let's get Ronda Rousey 0-2. So Rousey, she's going to fight. She's getting back into the octagon. And I can't believe I'm saying this. Ronda Rousey might be in the biggest MMA fight in 2026, and it's not in the UFC. And here's what she had to say, courtesy of Netflix, in terms of why the UFC has gone downhill.
It's just not about putting on the best fights possible anymore. Dana isn't the owner, and he isn't calling the shots, and he isn't running things the way that he wants, because he's an employee of the company. It was a big mistake of theirs to not let him just run things the way that he always has. Oh, he knows the White House card sucks. Like, he knows that they were pushing this for over a year, and it fell extremely short of expectations. I mean, he was so upset about it. He was talking about a fight falling out the day before. You know, it's I can guarantee you he's not happy with it either. It used to be that UFC was the best place that you could come in combat sports to make a living and be paid fairly, and now it's no longer. It's one of the worst places to go. It's why so many of their top athletes are leaving to go and find pay elsewhere. It's why their champions like Valentina are selling pictures of their titties on OnlyFans. You know, like these people are, a lot of them at the ground level, they can't support their families. They're living poverty level, fighting full time. This company just got $7.7 billion. There's no reason that they can't afford to pay their athletes at least a living wage.
I'm happy I'm out of that. That's all what I can say.
Thank you. I just wanted
to. Eli, let me bring you in here real quick. I know we got a break here. Rico is standing by, but it seems to me, and we need more time tomorrow to talk about this, but it seems to me, Eli, don't look now. The Netflix card in May could be rivaling UFC's White House card as the biggest fight card in MMA of the year.
Yeah, it's seeming so. With Francis Ngannou now being added to the card too, AA. We talked about them being, or this card being an interesting fight, an interesting card rather. And I think the Rousey fight's interesting. The Ngannou fighting on here is interesting. Obviously, Gina Carano coming back to fight Rousey's. There's a lot of names that are interesting enough with this card. So I'm excited to see who else could be on this card. But I mean, like I said, we said some legends. Ngannou, obviously more of a current star, but a guy who obviously anytime he gets in the octagon is going to be exciting.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about what Ronda had to say. Some of the other points that she made in terms of pay, superstar pay or lack thereof. We'll talk more about that tomorrow because we got Rico standing by in just a moment. I got to talk to you guys about two things, though, before we go to break here. Two things. First, we start with BA Sweeties. BA Sweeties is phenomenal. BA Sweeties, the largest candy store in North America, over 75 years of business. They do a great job, and it's just amazing. When you walk in the building, it smells like goodness. When you're getting candy, a lot of great treats and stuff like that. Of course, we love the cheddar popcorn. They have all types of popcorn, but the cheddar popcorn is my go-to. But all sorts of great stuff. Classic Colts Club, classic treats, jelly beans. They also have the toxic waste candies as well. And here's the cool thing. And I can say this because our buddy Tom from BA Sweeties, he encourages this. You want to trick your friends? Get some of the nasty stuff there too. Yes, they have on purpose. They have some nasty stuff, the treats that you could try out as well. Some crazy flavored pops that you could try out as well. They got great stuff, and then they have nasty stuff. And usually for a business, you never promote the nasty stuff, but Tom's like, dude, try it. Prank your friends. Try it. BA Sweeties here in Cleveland, largest candy store in North America. Interstate 480, the Ridge Road exit, make a left on Brook Park Road. You'll see a giant lollipop, and it's right there. Now, what's cool, after you buy your candy and your treats and stuff from BA Sweeties, when you come back home, go on your phone or go on the computer and type in AlleyRoseFragrances.com and buy yourself a candle. It is spring. It's 70 degrees outside, although don't look at Thursday's forecast. Just don't look. Just don't look. Or next week's forecast. But these last few days, it has felt like spring. I've been able to walk outside in shorts, all that stuff. But guess what? Alley Rose Fragrances, Allison's just rolled out a whole spring collection of candles that you have got to check out. You need to have at your home. Got to have great smelling candles, great body mist, all that stuff. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And when you go online on your phone or your computer or anything, type in a promo code InsideEdge20. InsideEdge20 is where you want to type in AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Tell them the Inside Edge Network we sent you over to the website. Get it for yourself and as a gift for your family, your friends, anybody you're trying to impress. Go ahead and get that. All right. My buddy Rico McGee from the Ruler Sportsman at WZAK. He is standing by. We're going to talk to him about Kevin Stefanski, about Cleveland State, about HBCUs, all that stuff on the other side of this break. This is Midnight Run. I'm Anthony Alford here on the Inside Edge Network.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
Welcome back. It is Midnight Run here on the Inside Edge Network. Final segment of the show, but a loaded final segment of the show. And we joked yesterday. We joked a little bit before these last couple of days. Yeah, the Browns are bad, and they are. I mean, they're bad, right? But what in the world is going on in Atlanta with the Atlanta Falcons? You know, Kevin Stefanski, we heard it. Two-time coach of the year, two-time coach of the year, two-time coach of the year. The report cards that the NFLPA or the league tried to hide, they got leaked anyway. And he was voted as the worst coach in the NFL. Kevin Stefanski, two-time coach of the year. And then you see some of the moves. Of course, the big one, Tua now with the Atlanta Falcons. You got a QB room featuring players that are my height, that are left-handed. I'm not left-handed, but I guess I clean up the weights with my left hand, so there's that. But Michael Penix and Tua, they are both in the QB room for the Atlanta Falcons and Kevin Stefanski. So we're going to find out if Kevin Stefanski is an ultimate genius or he is who we think he is. And for more on what's going on with the Atlanta Falcons and for more on what's going on really just what's going on in Atlanta right now, because we got to talk Magic City. That whole promotion got canceled and everything like that. We got some other things we got to talk about here locally. Let me bring in my buddy from the Ruler Sports Minute, Rico McGee. Come on in. Rico, how you doing first off?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I want to be generous because, man, I love you, man.
Go ahead and say it, because whatever you're saying, I'm thinking the same thing. Trust me. We're scoring.
Usually with interviews, you're supposed to ease into the interview like, oh, you know, the weather is great outside. I ain't ease into this. What the hell are y'all doing?
Listen, I'm trying to figure it out. I was actually talking to a friend of mine about this, and he was saying that he don't think it's as bad as it seems. And maybe it's not, but then I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, he's high injury prone. Tua is. Michael Penix, we're probably not going to get him back until mid-season. Truth is, I think Atlanta only really signed him, you know, as like a low-risk, high-reward type thing, because you're only signing him to a one-year deal worth, I think, the veterans minimum, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, if he performs well and he excels, okay, well, we'll see about the future. And if he does it, then it's like, all right, well, bro, you got to go. So I understand the move, even though I'm a little hurt because I really wanted Kyler Murray from Arizona. That's who I was hoping for, but Atlanta's going to Atlanta. And
so,
that.
Yeah. So let me ask you real quick about Kyler Murray then. So I know we've had concerns about Kyler Murray in Cleveland, you know, the weather, AFC North, but this would have been Kyler Murray in a controlled environment in an indoor stadium in the South where he could have had more success.
You know what? I don't think Kyler Murray was as bad in Arizona as what people make it seem. Because, I mean, aside from Marvin Harrison Jr., who had some injuries, but he still showed promise, he had a tight end and another receiver that both went over 1,000 yards receiving last year. So I don't think Kyler Murray is really as bad as what it seems. I mean, he still puts up pretty good numbers, but he slept on because Arizona, the organization as a whole, to me is just bad. I really wanted him in Atlanta, but I don't know how him and Stefanski would have meshed, because to me, Stefanski has that you're going to do it my way type of mentality, while Kyler's kind of like, nah, bro, you know. So
I guess my thing would be, Rico, like, all right, I mean, if you already know, but if you don't know, Rico is from here. He lives around the corner from me. So he's here in Cleveland. But we'll talk some Cleveland stuff here in a little bit. But Atlanta Falcons fan, so obviously tapped in. By the way, how did you, for our audience, how did you become an Atlanta Falcons fan?
I was actually born in Norfolk, Virginia. I was born in Norfolk. We moved here when I was like 7 years old, but my grandparents and my aunt moved down to Atlanta. And seeing as Norfolk ain't had no football team, they just sent me Atlanta Falcons stuff because they had an NFL team. So I think from the time I was like 4 years old, it's been Falcons for me. So when we moved here, Cleveland was on their way out. We didn't have a football team when we first moved here. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna just stick with the Falcons. So.
And when did you move here again?
1994.
Yeah.
94, 95. I think they left after the 95 season.
Yeah.
I remember the whole Save Our Browns campaign and my father freaking out, and the whole city was just in disarray. Like, no! They were mad at Michael White for a minute behind that.
Yeah, yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. Yeah, dude, all bad. I do wonder, and we'll talk Stefanski in 2 seconds. I do wonder because my mind, every time we talk something, I told you what we're going to talk about, and of course we're going to deviate for a little bit because I always want to think back to, all right, if you moved here during that time period when the Browns were moved, all right, cool, the Browns are back. And I think a lot of people when they move, there's always, does that team that's here become my number one team? Or does my childhood team continue to be my number one team? And you stuck with the Falcons, and they had a Super Bowl appearance, and then, of course, the Michael Vick experience.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other things that the Falcons have done that we won't talk about in this interview because I have love and respect for you. But I will leave that part alone. But you stuck with the Falcons even when the Browns came back.
Yep. The year they came back, the Falcons had just came off their first Super Bowl appearance. So I was excited. I'm like, okay, well, maybe we could do it. And then they only won 3 games that season. So I'm just like, well, dang. I mean, I guess I'm going to keep giving them a chance or whatever. And then Jamal Anderson got hurt. I think that was the injury that kind of derailed his career to an extent. But we had just got Michael Vick. I think we had a couple seasons later we signed Warwick Dunn from Tampa Bay. If my memory serves me, we had Alex. So I was always excited about Atlanta. You know, I'm like, okay, I think we could finally do it. But I always kept an eye on Cleveland because I'm here in Cleveland. So it was like, it's like you can't help but pay attention to Cleveland because you're in the city with them. So the year y'all went to the playoffs and y'all was playing Pittsburgh, I was like, okay, I think they're going to be pretty good next season. And I don't know what it is about, just not being able to sustain that winning success. But I love the Falcons. That's my number one team. But I always got respect for the Browns because of Bernie Kosar and those 80s Browns teams that my father always told me about as a kid,
Rico, I'm sure in your head he was probably thinking after that 2002 playoff game against the Steelers, the Browns are 18 years away from their next playoff game.
Right. You know what? I did not think about that, man. I'm like, I thought next year we was going back, and I'm like, man, no, ain't no way. Like,
one more Falcons question before we get to the serious stuff of Stefanski.
For sure.
Do you prefer the black Atlanta Falcons logo or the red?
I prefer the throwback logo.
Okay.
I prefer the black one. That's my favorite one. I was looking, this hat I got on, I was looking for the throwback logo, but I can't find it nowhere online. I could have bought it when I went to the Falcons Browns game a few years ago, and I'm like, oh man, I should have bought it when I had the chance.
All right, Rico McGee joining us here from the Rulers Minute. You can actually hear Rico here locally in Cleveland, 93.1 ZAK with Sam Silk on Monday and Friday?
Monday and Friday, yes, sir.
Yeah, Monday and Friday, 12:50 or 1:50 in that time range.
Yeah.
You can hear the Rulers Sports Minute there as well. We got to talk about Kevin Stefanski. So he comes to town with Atlanta. Matt Ryan basically saying he's our guy. He's the 2-time Coach of the Year. When you heard that Kevin Stefanski was going to become the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and then the moves he's made since, what is your outlook as a Falcons fan of Kevin Stefanski to this point?
You know what? I watched what he did in Cleveland, and He had Baker Mayfield. He had Odell Beckham. I forgot his name escapes me, but Rashard Higgins as well. And that Nick
Jarvis Landry.
Yep, Jarvis Landry. That's who I'm thinking of. And Nick Chubb in the backfield with Kareem Hunt. And he had a solid offense. And you let Tyler Algier walk, but that really, we still got Bijan Robinson, Drake London. They just put the franchise tag on Kyle Pitts. I think it's going to be – I'm excited a little bit. I'm excited. I know he's gonna make those Stefanski decisions that are gonna probably have you scratch your head like, bro, really? 4th and 1 on the goal line, and this would you do something crazy like Pete Carroll? But I'm excited. I'm excited for what I'm excited for the most part to see what he's gonna do. I get it, man. I really would have seen what he would have been with Kirk Cousins, but. Some things just I know I'm excited. I do want to see what he's gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, for all the jokes we could make here in Cleveland about Kevin Stefanski, and they're gonna be fun. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I mean, you guys, that division, the division is attainable, right? To win the NFC South. I know Carolina had a great season, of course.
Yep.
And Tampa Bay was right there with Baker Mayfield. But you guys, even at the end of last season, you guys made a strong run down the stretch.
Yeah.
Even after technically being out of playoff positioning. But you guys had a say of how the division was going to shake out. And if things do go the right way, if Tua does perform, has that prove-it type season, you guys do have the capabilities of doing some damage and possibly winning the NFC South.
Definitely. We got to get some help in the secondary. We got to get somebody to complement A.J. Terrell at corner and really A.J. Terrell at corner because we let D. Alford go. He's in Green Bay now. Shout out to D. Alford. Thank you for everything you've done in the A. But I think really we need help in the secondary. And then with the James Pierce situation, it's no telling how that front seven is going to look now because we were getting to the quarterback at will, and James Pierce showed a lot of promise, but then that situation happened, and I don't think he's going to be there next season. Ain't no telling what's going to happen with him. So it's really, I think Kevin Stefanski's on to something. I think the defense is still going to be pretty good, even though our offense wasn't very good last year with Zach Robinson as our offensive coordinator. That offense was really predictable, but I think that was because Michael Pitts was so limited. They were worried about letting him do too much and getting hurt, and he ended up getting hurt anyway. So, I mean, that was last year though, and I'm excited to see what Stefanski's going to do in Atlanta.
Let's shift over to Cleveland. Of course, you cover Cleveland State.
Yep.
You've been covering Cleveland State for a little while for the Ruler Sports Minute. What have you seen from the Cleveland State Vikings this season? What were your takeaways? You cover both the boys and girls basketball teams. So let the audience know if they did not see CSU basketball, what were some of the things that caught your eye this year?
You know what? Cleveland State gave up a lot of points. The men's team, I should say, gave up a lot of points in the paint. But I really think that's just because of the lack of size, man. And with NIL, there's just not enough NIL money to go around at CSU, in my opinion. And I think that, because of that, it's going to be hard to get some real legitimate size. Plus, you have 8 seniors that are leaving after this season. So, recruiting is just a lot harder than it used to be. And money talks. And these young folks ain't built like we was. We didn't have NIL or whatever. So, I think that's one thing about it, man. I think if they're going to recruit, they're going to try to recruit more size. They're the shooting, offensively, they were good. They were a great offensive team, scoring about 90 to 100 points a game on average. A new team learning how to play together, new system under first-year head coach Rob Summers, who's a great guy. Like him a lot, very down to earth. I think Cleveland State will be okay. Just give them, we got to see what the offseason holds. They lost in the first round of the Horizon League tournament to Wright State, a team that they split the season with. So, I think they'll be okay. I think, new system, and Rob Summers is a good guy. Has a very good reputation around college basketball. Came from Missouri. Actually was an assistant coach at Cleveland State when they won the Horizon League championship in 2021. So he has the respect of many of his peers, and I think a lot of players are going to want to come and play for him.
Good. The NIL thing, that's a whole different conversation, but it's something that everyone has to compete with. Everyone has to adjust to. It's no longer just a normal recruiting and selling the school. It's selling an endorsement deal, endorsement deals and stuff like that. And so I bring that because when we talked before doing the commercial, we talked about the HBCUs because it all of a sudden my mind is starting to spin about the HBCUs because you mentioned, first off, there's a ton of correct me if I'm D2, there's no NIL, correct?
No NIL in D2.
Okay. So HBCUs, and this is why I wanted to bring this up. There are way more HBCUs than the 3, 4, or 5 HBCU schools that we hear about nationally.
Yeah, definitely.
But it seems like all the love only goes to a few of those HBCUs, and that's it. I don't know if that's like the right way to go about things.
No,
it ain't. What are your thoughts about that? Because you hear definitely about, HBCUs, all cool. We support, the 2 or 3 schools, and that's it.
I see what you're saying. There's definitely elitism amongst HBCUs. Anything outside of maybe Howard, Hampton, Morehouse, Spelman, North Carolina A&T, known as the greatest homecoming on earth to many. I mean, anything outside of that, there's a sort of a, I'm up here because I went, there is, excuse me. I think there's always been elitism amongst HBCUs, but mainly, I mean, the Division II schools is tough. I just don't know how you go about it. It's really the MEAC and the SWAC. They're the Division I HBCUs. They're D1 AA. So the main thing is trying to get those money to them, and maybe that'll trickle down to the D2 schools. But it's hard, and I really don't have an answer as to how you go about getting that money to those HBCUs.
So I wonder, because here's the difference now. How do you approach the NIL? Because for the most part, if you're just focused on football, you could, utilize your money there. We had a conversation on the network about probably about a few weeks ago about Ohio State, because at the time Ohio State was out in the NCAA tournament. They couldn't win any big games. Their basketball team, but like the football team is set, and I'm like, wait a minute, where's the NIL money going there? But in the case of HBCUs, I guess let me ask you this, because again, you covered HBCUs more extensively than I do. Is there more recognition towards the football, basketball, or marching band?
Probably the marching band first. Probably the marching band first. Marching band is nobody in HBCU football. When I went to my HBCU, nobody cared about. I mean, the game, we cared about the game if you were playing a rival. So for us, as long as we beat Virginia State, that was probably the only game we cared about if we sucked. If we sucked, all right, fine, we sucked. Yeah. As long as we beat Virginia State, though, don't you lose to Virginia State.
Right.
But it's marching band first. It's marching band over everything. Schools like Hampton and Howard, they really care more about producing young black men and women for society. Sports is cool. They want to be good in sports. Don't get me wrong. They care about sports, but it's more so about building, young black men and women and producing them to be great in society. Now, as long as they beat As long as Hampton beats Howard, it's a winning season. You can go
Right.
0-10. You better not lose to Howard if you're Hampton, and you better not lose to Hampton if you're Howard. So that I'm just using those two schools as an example. Like those are two, they're considered the Black Ivy League. So
I can't. All right, follow me here for a second.
I got you.
Follow me here. So Drumline, right? Drumline with Nick Cannon. I know we're not supposed to talk positively about Nick Cannon in 2026. But it was a great movie, and I think when he shot that movie, he only had one child at the time. Hold on, pause. All right. All right, man. Hold on. All right. So with Nick Cannon, when he damn it. So when he shot, when he did Drumline, so follow me here. They recreate Drumline to whatever, right? Dr. Lee, by the way, still looks exactly the same as he did 25 years ago.
Right.
So you redo that movie, all of a sudden, you're fighting for NIL. Who's going to pay Nick Cannon more in Drumline? Is it going to be Dr. Lee or is it going to be J. Anthony Brown that's going to pay him more in that movie? Like, I imagine with the right marketing that you're going to see perhaps, and I haven't looked it up, but I would imagine if you're looking for the best drummers, if you're looking for the best, tuba players, whoever it may be, might have to start paying them if they're not already doing that.
Right. And that's another thought right there too, especially when the marching bands really are the ones that bring in the money at HBCU schools. For real. Like, as far as like sports is concerned. So for football, it's like, yeah, I mean, they want to see you, but you might not get no shine here if he playing the hell out that tuba and doing splits on the field. Like, listen, let NIL money start reaching HBCU bands. They're not going to know how to act.
Oh, it's over.
It's going to be a wrap. They don't know how to act now. I'm telling you right now. They don't know how to act now, especially when they compete. Bro, it goes, man. Like, listen, I done seen Virginia Union and their drum line go at it with some of the biggest. And we a small school. It's only 2,000 students at Virginia Union, like when I was there. So it's like, yeah, like we had something to prove because we had a small band. So we be going hard out there. I'm like, let's go. So, yeah.
Right. All right. Final question, because I know we got to wrap here.
Okay.
Let me go back to Atlanta. They were supposed to do the Magic City promotion, and it got pulled. What are your thoughts on the NBA? First off, what is your thoughts on the promotion by the Atlanta Hawks and the NBA pulling the promotion?
I did not have a problem with it in the first place because I just said this on my show. I'd actually just talked about this on my recent episode on Sunday. People that are complaining act like we didn't have the Attitude Era in professional wrestling. Remember The Godfather? It's time once again for everybody to come aboard the train. Remember that? And he used to walk down to the ring. One girl showed cheeks on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Val Venus. His character was an adult film star. His finishing move was called the money shot. If you don't know what the money shot is, Google it. I'm not going to say it up here. But come on now, like our generation, we had way worse. They weren't going to have no real big booty strippers up there with the kids. The NBA wasn't going to go for all of that. It was probably just going to be T.I. rapping, maybe one girl doing a little dance and some lemon. Enjoy the halftime show. That's it.
Yeah, have fun and have their chicken.
And have your chicken. Lemon pepper my wings. Like, and then to cancel it, I was really disappointed. First of all, Atlanta's always going to do what Atlanta's going to do. Atlanta is going to Atlanta in every aspect of their culture. That's what they do. And listen, Magic City is enshrined in Atlanta, Georgia folklore. Okay, that's what they do. Like Magic City has been rapped about. There are stories. There are probably books. There's going to be a documentary coming out probably. That's just what it is down there, man. And, you know, I just think we living in times where everybody's just overly sensitive and overly worried about, y'all just live and let live, man. Like, listen, long as ain't no stripper trying to put her bare boobs in a little 4-year-old's face, I don't think you're going to have a problem. Like, that's when it's a wrap. Like, all right.
Well, they got to learn sometime. Anywho,
Yo.
How can people find you, Rico?
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Rulers Minute 216. You can follow my YouTube called The Rulers Minute Show, and that's on YouTube.
Eli, real quick, come on the screen. Eli's our producer.
Yeah, I'm here.
What did you think of this fine interview here so far?
So far, I think we're wrapping up here, fellas. Yeah. But I think you did a great job. I think there was some takeaways for sure, and I feel bad for the Falcons. That's my biggest takeaway from this is I feel bad for the Falcons.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hard I know it's hard being a Browns fan. I tell people it's hard being a Falcons fan too.
You know,
it's hard.
Bad. And I'll just leave it at this because we got to wrap the show up. Don't tell me the Hawks ain't gonna have no after party with Magic City.
Oh, they're definitely
yeah. It's still gonna be a promotion. It just won't be. It'll be outside of the arena and at Magic City. So
we'll
still do it. Rico, thank you for joining me on Midnight Run.
For sure, bro.
Man, that was great stuff. Rico McGee joining us. That's gonna do it. We ran over. We're out of time here on Midnight Run. For Eli Moon, for Rico McGee, for all of you for joining us. Have a great night. We'll be back with you tomorrow at midnight. We're going to see if there's any major breaking news and a ton of other stuff going on here on the Inside Edge Network. Remember, start with Jersey Chasers at 7:30, Inside Edge Prime Time at 10, and then my show at midnight on the Inside Edge Network. Have a great night, everybody. Go to bed. Y'all got to work in the morning.